What's going on, guys? So I bet you want to know why I got this name or how I got into this candle making space. So I made a video before about, you know what I'm saying, how I got into candle making and stuff like this. But I don't, I want to explain why I got the name As I Am. What does that mean? So I've talked about that before in other videos, but it's Ahmad Smith I Am. So my name is Ahmad. Nice to meet you guys. But one, it's a reminder to, accept yourself as you are, but it's supposed to be more of an all-encompassing thing. So for me, as a person, I had an ex of mine who actually came up with the name As I Am. She finds me. I don't know. She might want to check. I don't know. But anyways, I appreciate that. But it started more from, I started making candles out of, out of like a mental health need. Struggling with mental health and different things like that, which is hard to talk about sometimes. I needed an outlet. And I had been doing the business thing before with different ideas. And I'm like, man, none of the stuff that I'm doing is really taking. And, I was watching a Soulja Boy interview. I was watching a Soulja Boy interview, and he was talking about how he makes products that he likes. And then the people that rock with him support him because of the stuff that he likes. And I was like, man, you know what? I do like candles. Maybe I'll try to make a candle. And, the person that I was dating at the time was supportive. He's like, yeah, go ahead, like, try it. So I made one. It came out not great, obviously, but it was okay. And I'm like, man, maybe I should try, like, keep doing this. So I sold those. People supported me. They wasn't good, but people supported me. And I'm like, okay, I can make this into a thing. And so I did. But at that time, it was a need for an outlet for me mentally. Going through a lot of personal things as we all do, struggling in life as we all do or all will at some point in time. I didn't really have too many outlets. You know what I'm saying? I would work out. I wasn't employed at the time, so I would work out, kind of do research, and then make candles. Like, you know what I'm saying? And try not to, like, lose my mind. And so candles, I don't want to say they kind of saved me, but they kind of helped me in a time where I needed help, because it allowed me to put energy and things into something other than what was going on in my life. And, I say this, I tell you this because for anybody, sometimes you got to just find an outlet. Sometimes you got to create from that pain. Sometimes you got to allow that pain to turn into beauty or whatever it is. I never really had an ultimate goal for candle making. Obviously, I wanted to make some money, you know what I'm saying? But when I looked at candle makers, I'm not saying people don't get rich from making candles, but a lot of people were people that are like working class people that can make a successful business out of candles. But that wasn't necessarily, unless you expand and do other things like candle bars or candle making classes or courses or whatever. I didn't see it, or you do it industrial. I didn't see a lot of people that just got rich off of making candles unless they had this big brand. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't necessarily want to do that. I wanted something that was cozy. I wanted something that wasn't too hard for me to figure out, that I could kind of put time into. So candles became that thing for me. It became that outlet. It became that release for me to just be able to, like, do stuff. You know what I'm saying? To be able to kind of create. I'm a creative person. I like to create. I was doing straight to the music at the time. There's another blog, another channel, Add Straight to the Music, YouTube, Facebook, all that. And it wasn't really producing for me. And I'm like, man, I need something that's going to produce for me right now. At the time, Straight to Music was more like a service. And then I came to the conclusion after maybe about 5 years of doing, maybe about 2-3 years of doing Straight to the Music. I'm like, bro, I need a product. Like, I need a product-based business. This is how my mind works. I need a product-based business. Maybe I need to, and maybe that's just the mental health part of me, like just going all over the place. But I'm like, I need a product-based business because service isn't going. And so I thought about candles. I was like, man, let's make candles into like a product-based business, because people can actually see it, they can feel it, they can touch it, they can smell it. And let's get good at that. And so that's what I did. So candle making came from a need for something else, to put my, pain into something, or turn my pain into profit, or really just to have an out avenue to create. I think also it wasn't a lot of black men who made candles. Like, it's not men, first off, and it's definitely not black men that made candles. So I was like, all right, that's something different. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's going to be like my calling card, is a black man who makes candles and makes good ones. I'm not trying to compete with women or, anything like that, but I wanted to be able to make something that was mine in my own particular way. And so that's what I did. And so that's why you have As I Am. So Ahmad Smith I Am. It really was a reminder to myself to accept myself as I am. Like, even though you're not where you want to be in life, you're enough. You know what I'm saying? So wherever you are, even though you might not be where you want to be, I'm not, you're still enough. You know what I'm saying? Even when times is hard and it don't feel like you're doing enough, you're still enough. You know what I'm saying? So, because I think healing really starts, I know I'm finna go on a tangent real quick, but I want you to hear this. Healing really starts when you start to accept yourself for who you are. And that doesn't mean that you can't change. That doesn't mean that you won't change. That just means like, hey, in all my messed up ways, no matter how screwed up I am, no matter how I messed up, I've accepted that I am a mess up sometimes. I accepted that I'm a screw up sometimes. I accepted that I'm not all together here today. And that's your starting point right there. You start there, you accept that, and then you build from there, and you give yourself grace when you mess up. You give other people grace and forgiveness when they mess up. You got to give yourself that same grace and forgiveness. And it's a thing I called in therapy. It's called radical acceptance. It's just accepting it without judging. Accepting what it is without judging. So if you're an alcoholic, it's accepting it. If you're a drug addict, it's accepting it. If you're a procrastinator, it's accepting it. If you know that you're lazy, it's accepting it. Okay, I am lazy. You know, I am a procrastinator. I am an alcoholic. And it's not necessarily telling yourself this every day, but just accepting, okay, this is where I'm at today. And knowing that where you at today, that's the base. You know what I'm saying? So you can always build from the base. That means you can always improve from that ground. If I know that this is the ground level, the only thing I can do is build up from there. You know what I'm saying? If I'm at rock bottom, there ain't no more bottom than rock bottom. So, you know what I'm saying? Unless it's hell bottom, but you're not trying to go backwards, you're trying to go forward. But if you just accept, like, this is where I'm at today, and you become okay with that, then you can, you know what I'm saying, inch your way up and accept who you are and build from there. And it won't matter so much what people say about you. It won't matter what people think about you, because it's going to be about what you think about yourself. And then you'll come to a place where it's like, man, I want better for myself. I want to think better of myself, so I'm going to do better for myself, right? So I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying, give y'all too much today, but that's where As I Am Candle Co. came from. That's how I got the name. And that's kind of brief what it means to me and where I'm at now. My goals for it, I'm just going to keep growing and let it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? I do like making candles, but that ain't my end all be all. It's something to do, you know what I'm saying, while I'm here on this earth for however long I decide to do it. And yeah, we're going to go from there. So till next time, y'all have a great day. Peace.